Okay, so it's day one. I think I'm about 15 miles away from the bridge. I've just come across the sea lions. Kind of a bit smelly. Okay, so it's day 3. The big plan's gone to pieces. Last night the wind was coming more from the west-northwest. This leaves you open to breaking waves over the side of the boat. It's freezing cold and all my kit's wet on the boat. So pretty depressing really, but there you go. Kind of knew what it was going to be like. It's just a bit of a shock when you're out here and your toes are about to drop off because they're so cold. So it's my 8th day at sea. This is all I've seen ever since we left. Mist and fog and mist and fog and mist and fog. The sun's really strong when it comes out from behind those clouds. It's very deceptive. It's cold and damp at the moment, and as soon as that sun comes out, it's really hot and humid. .30, and I didn't realise he must have flown on board last night, my first flying fish. It's Father's Day and the girls have given me 2 cards. That's pretty cool. Haven't seen any fish that big, George. This better be a light-hearted one, Libby. This is really a good one. A proper family joke. Dad, Mum, you are my favourite. And you're my favourite too. So it's hard work. It's going to be a kind of mediocre day again, 40 something miles, maybe 43, 44 miles. It's not good enough. 1,000 miles away from San Francisco. 5,250 miles away from Cairns. Not far. Got a better sleep last night, very calm. Did actually start drifting in the right direction after going backwards for a little while last night. This is just coming up for 7:30, got an hour to do with my morning row left, 3.5 hours. And this is the sunrise, it's quite pretty. So I've been in and out. The foots are pretty graceful. So it's all clean now, no barnacles. We're right for 3 or 4 weeks, I guess. Got a little bit better in the last hour, but the winds started to push from the south-east again, and it's crucifying us. I had a couple of boatfuls of water, and the last time was pretty close, so I eased off a bit on my course. I was trying to get some south back, but that wasn't going to happen. It's still pretty gloomy. My 40th day at sea. It seems like forever, but it's also quite good in a sense that the days are building up, and the more that end up on the done side, the less there are to do. Rubbish morning. So that's that squall over. Sun's trying to come out. Rain's stopped. That's why it's not worth putting any kits on. They don't last very long, and then you warm up really quick and dry out. It's easier to dry skin than it is to dry Got to show you this. Since I sat down, the sun started to rise. See off in the distance, and there's a big storm system off this side. The sky is just incredible. You got your storm system on one side, coming back, and then incredibly clear blue sky. It's stunning. I had a good day yesterday, did 49.6 miles. It was difficult to judge that last little bit, quitting at 8 PM and just drifting the last little bit, but we nearly made 50. The swell was helping a little bit, so was the current, but there was no help from the wind. It was red hot yesterday with hardly a breath of wind. So it's Monday the 28th of July. Thought today was going to be our first 60 day, but we had a great overnight. The wind was just horrific through the night. The boat was swamped half a dozen times, and waves were coming over the back cabin. Some squeezed in through the vents on the front of the cabin. Nightmare. Alright, so I'm back in after 10 minutes. You can probably hear the rain outside. It's hammering it down. I don't mind rowing in the rain, but rowing in a torrential downpour is just stupid. So still day 60, 30th of July. Big storm coming. Rain's just about to start. It rains really hard for a little while, then it'll stop, then it'll come back and it'll stop. But I think this is quite a big weather front, I think. I'm trying to get back on course here at the moment. Comes. He's a nutcase. ITCZ. So that's it. Oh! He just missed. He hit the aerial and then fell off the boat. Had a bit of a tough morning, well, a tough night really. And the equatorial current, and everything's going west or northwest, and it was a massive swell. I mean, it's calmed down a lot now, but it was a massive swell overnight. Wind was pushing really hard. This is sunrise, and he's been trying to land on the boat for flipping days, this guy. He's gone now, he's back again, look. Oh, he's going to land on my head. He's desperate for a rest. Anyway, I'm desperate to get out of this equatorial current. It's really quite cold this morning, even though the wind's got a bit of heat in it. When you get wet all the time, it's just flipping miserable. This is my course for Tuesday the 11th of August. I don't do loops normally. These are my hands after a rainy day at the oars. And then back to my hands. bit of a mess. I'm on power anchor, but a big squall passing through, and there's actually squalls all around us. You see there, see how angry the water is. It's just passed over as it rained on us. But the sky's pretty impressive again tonight. Holy schmoly. I hate being on power anchor. All you can see outside. Flipping messy out there. It's been like that for about 4 hours. I did have to yank the power anchor in to make sure it was working, because we've just started drifting a little bit north of east, which is not good. 22nd of August. Been held up here for 5 days already and going east, and it's driving me bonkers. At sunset on the 22nd, you can see the sunset behind the clouds over there. This is heading my way, and batten down the hatches. So you can see yesterday, this is my track down. I was going south, but going a bit west as well, which is great. And then you can see where I stopped last night, got pushed back, and this weird little mess here is where it took me 2 hours to row half a mile south again, and ended up putting the power anchor out, and you can see I'm just going slightly above direct east. Sunday, August 30th, and I'm still in the equatorial countercurrent, and up until this morning I've been getting so flipping depressed about it. Every time the weather's said that we're going to get something that's going to help us get out of here, it's just not turned up, and the forecast has either changed or the weather's just been completely different. Then since Wednesday, it's now Sunday, managed to get 14 miles in 4 days.
So you can see here why I'm having so much trouble. I'm entering the equatorial countercurrent, which runs west at 2 to 5 knots. It's about 600 or 700 miles wide. The idea was to head south as quick as possible, a bit like swimming out of a rip current on a beach. But to do this, you need at least wind from the east, if not no wind at all. I found myself in an El Nino wind blowing from the west at about 20 to 25 knots. Added to the current strength, that could mean losing as much as 100 miles a day without using the power anchor. Unless I wanted to end up in Peru, I had no option but to wait for the wind to drop so I could make my dash south.
September 4th, you can see yesterday my rowing did pretty well actually, nice and straight. There's a little dippy bit in the middle where I stopped. So I'm just going to show you what's happened in the last few hours. You can see I stopped last night and got pushed west, then started going northeast. So I rowed again last night to try and find some better place to put the power anchor in, and the wind's turned on me and it's pushed me all the way back the extra that I rowed, which was kind of 2 miles, and then back past where I drifted from last night, and now I'm going back northeast. Not a lot I can do about it, unfortunately. Wind might just be settling down a bit actually. This forecast is under 6 knots and it's blowing like we're on angles here on summer holidays.